If you've heard the name Sharif Osman Hadi and wondered why everyone's talking, here's the short version. From student activist to polarizing protest leader. Sharif Osman Hadi was a Dhaka University-educated activist who became the voice of last year's July Uprising. A spokesperson for Inqilab Mancha, he preached a tough idea of Insaf, justice that demanded moral reckoning, not just court rulings. He combined religious imagery, street organizing, and a fierce anti-India message, anti-establishment message that rallied many and alarmed others. In Dhaka this year, gunmen shot him while he rode a battery rickshaw. He was treated in local hospitals and later in Singapore. Doctors couldn't save him. The killing sparked arrests, cross-party condolences, and a day of state mourning. Bangladesh is at a breaking point. Just as the nation was preparing for its first democratic elections since the 2024 uprising, a single act of violence has ignited a firestorm. Sharif Osman Hadi, a prominent youth leader and a face of the July Uprising, is dead. His assassination hasn't just removed a political candidate, it has pushed the entire country to the edge of chaos. Who was Sharif Osman Hadi, and why does his death threaten to derail Bangladesh's future? Sharif Osman Hadi wasn't just another name in the crowd. In a country defined by decades of rigid political dynasties, he became something rare, an authentic independent firebrand. But how did he go from a student leader to a national icon? At just 34 years old, Sharif Osman Hadi emerged from the student-led movement that ousted Sheikh Hasina in August 2024. Educated at Dhaka University, he became the spokesperson for Inqilab Mancha, a group advocating for Insaf, a concept of justice and moral accountability that resonated with a generation tired of dynastic politics. Hadi wasn't just an activist, he was a disruptor. He called for the permanent ban of the Awami League and challenged established powers like the BNP, Jamaat, and others. By the time he announced his independent candidacy for the upcoming February elections, he had become a symbol of the July warriors, the young people who believe the revolution isn't over. On December 12, 2025, the tension turned deadly. While launching his election campaign in Dhaka's Bijoynagar, Hadi was shot in the head by masked gunmen on a motorcycle. He spent 6 days on life support before succumbing to his injuries in a Singapore hospital on December 18th. The reaction was immediate. Within hours of the news, thousands took to the streets. Protesters, convinced the attack was a calculated hit by fascist remnants, set fire to the Awami League offices and even targeted major newspaper headquarters like Pratham Alo and the Daily Star, accusing them of being complicit or pro-India. This isn't just a domestic crisis. The interim government, led by Nobel laureate Muhammad Yunus, has pointed the finger across the border. Dhaka summoned India's envoy, alleging that the suspects fled to India and that former PM Sheikh Hasina is inciting violence from Indian soil. India has categorically rejected these claims, but the diplomatic rift is widening. For many in Bangladesh, Hadi's death is seen as a foreign-backed conspiracy to destabilize the country before the polls. Anti-India sentiment is surging, with protesters marching toward the Indian High Commission. The February 12th elections were supposed to be a new beginning. Now, they are clouded by fear. With the July Unity Coalition demanding justice and the government declaring a day of mourning, the question remains: can Bangladesh find a path to peace, or will Hadi's death be the spark that leads to another cycle of revolution and repression? Police say the investigation is active, reviewing CCTV, tracing getaway routes, pursuing suspects at large. Daily briefings promise updates, but details remain limited. Civil society groups call for an impartial probe. Rights groups echo that demand. Discussions about technical assistance from international partners are on the table, framed as support, not interference. The election timeline stands: tightened security for rallies, tightened security for candidate travel, tightened security for counting centers, with visible police and plainclothes monitoring. Public sentiment is mixed: grief, anger, fatigue. Community leaders urge peaceful participation and vigilance against rumor or provocation. Government messaging stresses due process and stability. Opposition leaders demand transparency, independent oversight, and timely disclosure of findings. Possible paths: swift arrests and clear evidence could cool tensions. Delays or unclear updates risk more protests and a heavier security footprint. For now, the next steps will be measured in days, not months. Bringing us back to the central question you'll hear in our conclusion. Bangladesh stands at a fragile moment. Emotions are high, facts are evolving, and choices matter. In times like these, truth needs patience, and progress needs peace. If you're voting, verify information, reject rumors, and keep each other safe. If you're watching from abroad, support due process, not division. We'll keep tracking verified updates. Subscribe, comment your questions, and share responsibly. For deeper context on Bangladesh's crossroads, watch our next explainer linked below.